Hello, hello. Okay, it's Delia again. And meaning again, we're going to talk about grounding. So grounding is really um, a superpower. It's really incredibly empowering and useful to you. Uh, it's an energetic thing. Uh, Anything that reminds you that you are energy and that you have this amazing body, and that this amazing body is also ignited by, animated by energy, that bright spark that is you, the spirit. Anything that helps you remember that is a good thing. So earthing, walking barefoot out in nature on the grass is a wonderful thing. Just with your shoes on, walking outside and having your attention, pardon me, be on nature, and that you're, being aware of breathing and how your body feels when you breathe, being aware of the sun on your face or the wind on your skin. All of these things kind of bring you into real reality, as opposed to the time-worn version of the world, which is story and explanation and judgment and bias and opinion and all that kind of mental stuff. A lot of people, you may relate to this, a lot of people kind of walk around from here up, right? They're just really not aware, they're intentionally not in their bodies. Again, this is a really appropriate choice when there was a lot of trauma happening to the body. A lot of people have had various traumas and difficulties, physical challenges, growing up and being young in a small little baby body, in a small child's body. A lot of horrible things have happened. And so getting out of your body is as natural as breathing. The spirit part of you that has lived for thousands of lifetimes tends to not want to stay in a body that's in pain and to hang out. So a lot of times you've heard this about near-death experiences, but this is true for trauma too, and abuse situations where the you that is you, the entity, the non-physical part of you, consciousness, will leave for when the body is going through these horrible things, which is brilliant because it's horrible. So talk therapy can be not effective because you can't, remember what was going on because you weren't there. You were like up in the corner of the room or somewhere else entirely. As a your consciousness was not in your physical body. You lost consciousness, even if your eyes were open, even if the body was still in the room. Consciously, that non-physical part of you, that spirit part, was not in the body at the time. So there are other effective ways of healing that original trauma than talk therapy. And I'm not bad-mouthing talk therapy at all. I'm just talking about the specific thing that I'm talking about right here and right now. Coming into the body when you have had a difficult lifetime, when your body has had bad things happen, horrible things happen, coming into your body is a challenge. And if you start out understanding that and not expecting it, but not judging yourself or blaming yourself when that's your experience, that's a great gift to yourself. That's a great kindness to yourself, to just validate whatever your experience is. And once you do that, things shift. So when you're in resistance, resistance is the super glue of the universe. So whatever you resist persists. And if you resist it long enough, you become it. So here, put your hands together and then push. Push, 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 push. Push really hard. When you can feel the bones of the other hand, you know, like at the heel and all through the hands as you're pushing in resistance. And you'll notice that, you know, no matter which side is pushing harder than the other side, neither side can let go because you're in resistance. And so when you're in resistance, notice how much of your body's energy has to go in to being in resistance. It's tremendous. It's totally exhausting to be in resistance. And you have to keep on whatever it is that you're resisting, like white on rice. It's just exhausting. And if you're resisting being you, and if you're resisting being in a body, and if you're resisting being in your body, and if you're resisting being alive on this planet at this time, you will be exhausted and frustrated and scared. Because if you have decided that being you is the root of all evil, if you have decided that being in your body is where all the pain is, if you have decided that those bad things happen because you were bad or wrong or evil, all of those things are going to set you up to avoid being you at all cost. This is a very, very painful way to live. When you are the root of all evil, it's a lie. It's a lie to think that you are the root of all evil. Growing up Catholic, I know where this, I know this one really well. And you cannot reason your way out of it. You cannot buy your way out of it. You can't think your way out of it. If this is a belief that was issued to you by the church or by your family, or that you bought, then you have been selling it. And maybe unconsciously, but if you have wrestled with you are the root of all evil, then you have bought and sold the lie that you are the root of all evil. And maybe you have proved it out. Maybe you have proved it to be true. Maybe you probably spent as much time proving it to be true as you have spent proving it to not be true. It's a total mindfuck, the whole thing. If that's the case for you, if you've had that kind of experience, if you have had that kind of belief in your system, turning within is not going to be pleasant. You're not going to want to do it. Because when you turn within, you're going to meet this monster, this conglomeration of all the worst that you've heard about you, that you've had other people tell you about you, that you believed about yourself. You've heard it so much you believed it, or it was so awful it matched how you felt inside, so you believed it. And in those cases, I really recommend you find therapy of some variety and are really kind to you. Because what if it's a lie? What if it's not true? What if, as they say in the Desiderata, what if you are a child of the universe and you have a right to be here? Yeah, because I guarantee you do have a right to be here. You are a child of the universe, and you are built for these times. And you have it in you, maybe undiscovered yet, but you have it in you to be kinder to you than you've ever imagined, kinder to you maybe than you've ever experienced from anybody else. And there is worth and goodness in you that maybe you've never imagined, or maybe you've never allowed yourself to entertain the idea that you're not the source of all evil. So if you find that you have trouble turning within, and you're committed to setting yourself free, first of all, know that there are many people who have been in very similar situations that have succeeded in turning within and becoming really very kind and their best ally. I'm just thinking of a better way to say it, but that's a pretty good way to say it. So I knew a woman who, we were in a training, energetic meditation and energetic healing classes together a long time ago. And she had had a lot of trauma in her youth, in her baby body. And as had I, and we both had that come to the conclusion that we were the root of all evil independently. We didn't know each other. And here we were in this class together now, at that time, working on learning how to turn within and how to meditate. And she was telling me that when we started in different places and then we came together later. And she was telling me that when she started, every time she turned within, she would get really woozy headed, like vertigo-y, and she would throw up. Her body was so programmed against her. Her analyzer was so programmed against her that her body would really be upset. And a lot of times what happens when baby bodies are going through trauma is you'll call out for help, right? Help. And the kind of help that will come in far enough into your system for a scared child to feel it. I mean, we're basically, when we're in those situations, we're asking for a thug to come and be on, beat up the bad guys on our behalf. And the kinds of entities that will take on that role will come in too far. And then what happens is they will be kind of a bodyguard and be a thug to the momentary invader. But then they end up kind of being a thug against us, right? We hired him to be a thug, and they got rid of the immediate threat, but they stayed on as a thug because that's how we hired them. So these entities, they can be way to think about entities, disembodied energies, is like they're all neutral, but some of them have been with us for a really long time, and they're like our posse. They may provide us with guidance, they may provide us with information, but they're not above us. As an infinite being, that's who we are. And an infinite being has a body personality with a past and emotions and thoughts and experiences, but we are not our past or our experiences or our story or even our body. All of those are contained within us as the infinite being, the non-corporeal self. So these entities that we hire to be thugs, they need to be fired after a while. And since we live in a world that says that none of this is real, that's not common information as it should be. So when you start to, this was the other thing that was happening with my friend, was that she had hired a lot of thugs to prevent her from ever turning within because of the lies about she was the root of all evil. And so when she was in the process of learning how to meditate, the throwing up and the woozy were the thugs that she had hired to keep her out of her body doing their job. And so over the course of the training that we were in, we both learned about how to fire the thugs and how to clean house. And that was really, really, really so necessary for me to be able to meditate, was I had to clean house. And I had to get rid of all the thugs that I had hired to protect me and that were doing such a good job. I couldn't be me. I couldn't come into my body. I couldn't, because I had designated me as the source of the problem. So if you relate to that, then I just I'm telling you the story so that you can be encouraged that maybe it's not true, the story that you're the root of all evil, or whatever your vocabulary for that is. And maybe there's other possibilities. And maybe if you learn how to ground, and maybe if you turn within, maybe you too can clean house and occupy your body so that you, infinite you, can spend more time in your sweet body, active in the world, instead of reactive and desperately trying to not be home in your skin, in your infinite self, and here on the planet at this time, which, by the way, you were totally built for. Right here, right now, you were totally built for these times. So grounding is a way to connect to the planet and to the energies of physical reality and to the cosmos. And when you are connected, there's a flow of energy. If you've ever seen a diagram of what do you call it? A magnet, you'll see here's the object in the middle, but then you'll see these little hash mark lines, and they're showing the magnetic field, right? So that's how you connect. It's like that magnetic field is all around you, and it's connected to the center of the universe, and it's connected to the center of the planet, and somehow you're the center of all of that, and your energy is going in and through your body and all around you into your bubble, your aura, and it goes above your head and beneath your feet and to the back and the front and the left and the right of you. And the more you start to practice grounding and running earth energy, and then over time we'll incorporate cosmic energy and some other things. But this is the very beginning, and these are the basis. Remember, anytime you've learned anything in sports or music, you have the basics that you want to learn, so you can return to the basics and go back to the fundamentals. And that's what grounding and running your earth energy is the fundamentals of you being an infinite being with a physical body. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time for some more lessons about grounding. Thanks for being here. And if you have questions, please put them in the comments below. See you next time.